So it is still very warm outside, but that's not really that much of a problem because we have more than enough to do inside, which is why I am going to start the work on this room, which will be my future house. And I'm going to start out today by removing plaster from the old walls. I know I'm not going to finish it today and I will probably get hot inside quickly as well, but we are just going to make a start to see what we can find under there and see how the wall is looking. So my Italian is not good enough to read all of this, but it looks like somebody's homework, and there are some comic books here, some other things that suggest that this were, I don't know if this was a children's room because it looks to be like it was a living room at one point in time, but I do know this desk is here, so this might all be from inside the desks, and that's probably a children's desk because there's very old stickers on it as well. So I'm mostly looking for dates here, but it's pretty hard to find because I don't know. Some of these look like dates, but could also be like class numbers.
Exciting news, guys, something just got delivered. And it's the Luba Mini 2 all-wheel drive by Renovation, who's actually sponsoring this week's video. And they're gonna make our life a lot more easy going forward. Let me show you why.
The Luba Mini 2 all-wheel drive is the world's first vision-powered robotic lawnmower with all-wheel drive, smart obstacle and drop detection, and AI-powered precision mapping.
So far, all the maintenance on property has been done fully by hand with a brush cutter in the scorching heat. And you can imagine it's not only very tiring, it takes a lot of time and it's not that effective, to be honest. That's why most of our grass areas have been looking less than perfect. That's why we were so excited when Renovation reached out for a collaboration with one of their products. We were also a bit skeptical, because you know our terrain, it's very uneven and there's lots of slopes. I wasn't sure any mower could handle this. That's why until now we've all done it with a brush cutter instead of a regular mower. But the Luba Mini 2 all-wheel drive changes everything. It does not only survive the slopes, it thrives. With its advanced all-wheel drive system, it can handle all our terrain without any problem. Actually, it seems to be enjoying it, to be honest. Luba has sort of become our new team member, very dedicated to keeping our lawn maintained. And it constantly keeps looking out for us. Really, with its eyes. It has a camera on top that scans its surroundings for any danger or obstacles that it needs to avoid. Like our cats, for example, who are really not scared of our new team member at all.
I thought the setup process would be daunting, but it was in fact incredibly easy. You pretty much only have to install the Vision module on top, download the app, let the mower charge in its charging station, and you're ready for your first time mowing. We chose to try out the lawn mapping feature first, where the Luba Mini 2 drives around, mapping where it can and cannot go, keeping your precious plants, fences and even the gardening equipment you forgot to put away all safe.
The mowing capabilities themselves also go beyond our expectations. We've discovered new contours in our landscape that we didn't even know were there just because it's mowed so perfectly now. So I would suggest getting used to seeing Luba around. It's our newest team member and we're so happy to have him. If you want to check out Renovation and the Luba Mini 2 all-wheel drive that we have, the links and information will be down below. I want to thank Renovation for sponsoring this video and for helping us keep our property maintained properly. Now back to the video.
gaat er redelijk makkelijk af hier.
Lekker.
Beter dan buiten.
Een masker beter?
Ja, 1000 keer beter. So that is the first wall done. The first wall inside my future living room. I think it looks amazing. There is barely any real damage. Of course, I need to clean it up more and then I need to repoint it. So yeah, a lot of you have been asking what we are going to do with the exposed walls. And the outside walls is a bit dependent on the kind of permits. So we are removing it right now because it needs to go anyway, because there's moisture behind it, and at least it needs to be redone. Or we are going to leave the stone exposed, which is actually the historical correct way to do it. So this house and most of the houses in the region here used to have, a long time ago when they were built, the exposed stone on the outside, no render or plaster or how you want to call it. But on the inside it's a different story. So on the inside most of these houses used to have some sort of plaster on the wall and no exposed stone. But I am so in love with how beautiful the stone looks that I think in my house I'm going to do a combination of the two, which isn't historically correct, but I just love the look of it too much. So not all the walls, because the wall where you guys are standing right now, right behind you, there used to be 2 doors to the other side of the house that have been closed off, and they are going to stay closed, but that doesn't look too good, so I'm going to keep it plastered. And also because I don't want everything to be the exposed stone. I think if you have 1 or 2 walls that look that way, it looks amazing in combination with a beautiful lime plaster. So I think that's what I'm going to do, but that's so far away that for now I'm going to be busy with removing all the old plaster, which need to happen anyway, because even if I want plaster on the walls, I need to redo all of it and the old needs to go. So yeah, but I'm happy with the progress, and I do think it's really beautiful. And I love this spot, I love this side of the house, the forest here, the sun goes down that way, so you have beautiful light here, and the other window has a view of the cliff. Right now it's more like a jungle there because of all the forest, but in every other season except summertime you can see the beautiful cliff, and I think that's really cool. So yeah, pretty happy with this. It's tiring work though, but I got the whole wall done in one go, which is pretty good. Pretty happy with that. So I found this old candle and I think I can make a beautiful new candle with this one. And last week I was opening a few boxes that I didn't really clean up yet. And I found some of my DIY stuff and I found some beautiful seashells. So I think we might make something with that in here because it's beautiful, it just needs a good clean. So we'll see if we can make something from it. So I think these look pretty cool. Never used them before, only smaller ones, but I think it's about time. I think because it's such a shallow dish, we can make a very beautiful candle with this. So always when I'm doing DIY projects like I'm doing right now, there are a few commenters saying I should focus on the real work because it will be winter and I will freeze to death and I need to fix things. And that is also going on, of course, but I also do like to show other things and make other things. So don't worry, I will focus on the renovation, but I also am just living my life and sharing it with you guys. And this is just part of it. So today it is time for the second wall, which is going to be this one. You can see the beautiful one over here. This one, then we have the one around the fireplace. and the one with the doors in it that I need to put some plaster on anyway. So I'm very curious to see how this one looks, because I hope it will be really beautiful. But around the opening sometimes that are the places they have used some materials for repair, so red brick, and it doesn't really fit into the wall. So very curious to see this one. Hopefully it turns out great, but let's get started and we will see once I am done. So in the past, this building had a lot of very large openings. You can still see most of them, and there are still some left of those. In the barn area, it's all very open, very large, open, not even windows, just an opening. And you can see over here, if you look at this patch in the wall, there's almost like a line. Not really, because they mixed the old stone with the red brick a very long time ago, and there's also not a large lintel here, so they did this probably very long ago. Because with the more recent closed up openings, you can see they left the large lintel in there, and you can see all of this is red brick, filled up with red brick. That isn't the case here. Let me get a little bit closer. This one red brick here, but this whole area is Langa stone. Also, smaller lintel for the window. So probably some time ago, might be 100 years ago, this was one of those larger openings, but then they decided they wanted to use this space as a living space and close this off, put a window in there and smaller lintel as well. So it isn't the most beautiful thing to look at, and it's pretty hard to remove the plaster from there as well, because it is better attached to the stone. The original stone, it's very loose, but the red brick, it sticks a bit better. But we'll just go on and see what is hiding underneath there. For now, this might be a wall that we will plaster and not leave exposed, because this wall is very beautiful, so we can leave this one exposed. But we'll just continue, remove the plaster in the whole room, and then we will see what all the walls are looking like. So we got the other wall done, And as you might be able to see, this is just the first thick layer of. There is a whole lot cleaning involved after this layer is gone. I need to go over it once more with the different attachments so I really get in between the stones, and then I need to brush it off. And we are definitely nowhere near finished with cleaning the walls, but the first thick layer of plaster is gone, and still need to do it around the window, but I also needed to breathe a little bit. I wanted to talk about this because I talked about this opening over here. You can see the line quite clearly. I do still think this wall overall looks beautiful, so I might find a way to leave it exposed. But this is something they made in here, because this, let me walk a little bit away for you guys, this used to be an opening as well. And because on the papers this is probably still an opening, we are talking about that with the geometry and architect, of course, I think we might be able to get a permit to put an opening in here again, because originally there was one and they might have just closed it off because they wanted to use this as a living space. But I do think, because behind me here you have the forest and a lot of wildlife, I do think it would be very beautiful if this is an opening as well. And also with all these Italian farmhouses, well, of course not all of them, but a lot don't really have that much windows. And that can be a problem, because there's also a rule that you need to have certain amount of windows in a living space. For us, that's not really a problem, because all these spaces are on the paper still livable space. They are still buildings to live in, so we don't really need to change anything about it, and everything works easy because of that with the permits and everything. But I do think giving the room a little bit more light would be very nice, and of course the view as well. So we might hopefully in the future, somewhere in the hopefully next few months, get a permit to put, I think, a glass door in here, because I think that would be really amazing. So while I am busy inside with the walls, Dylan is collecting all the garbage here outside, because hopefully somewhere in the next few weeks we can get another load of garbage picked up and start clearing the ruin as well, because we think it will greatly improve how everything looks here. And he's also putting firewood inside, so we have that ready for once it starts to cool down. But that will probably take a little bit of time, because it's only getting hotter next week. It's already very warm today as well, but it is still all right. And I am going to continue here with the next wall. I don't really know what this is, but it is made out of wood, and I think I can make something cool with it. Maybe a planter of something. And it's pretty cool to find all those little things of history hidden here. We are going to keep everything that we might be able to use ourselves or might be able to restore, but everything that's too broken or we don't really like it, we don't think anybody has any use for it, of course we will throw that out. But it's always a whole process to decide what you want to keep and what needs to go. Also found this metal thing, which I'm not too sure what it is. It is pretty old. I think it might be a hook for drying something on. Might be for drying meat or something, but I'm not too sure. We are going to keep it though, because it is pretty cool thing. So this wall over here is going to be a whole new challenge because of this old fireplace. I think it might be the original one, but I am not too sure of how, because of how it is constructed. You can see over here those cracks. This is the whole old smoke channel. That's the hole over there, and we have the same one above there because they used to have heating systems in all the different rooms and using the same smoke channel through the whole wall. And that's also, there's a little hole where we can see outside. There's just a thin layer of brick behind the fireplace, and this smoke channel is pretty big as well. So I'm very curious to see what I'm going to find there, and it might break a little bit, but that's fine because we need to fix it anyway. I do think I want a wood stove, probably around the same place because it is a good spot for a fireplace, but I don't want an open fireplace. So I am not too sure how I am going to do that. Remove the whole thing, fill it up with bricks, or using the old smoke channel with a new pipe through the wall to the roof. But yeah, right now I'm not too sure. I also need to see how it looks under here to know what I'm going to do, but I'm definitely curious to see what it looks like. Okay, I arrived at the place in the wall where there is the old smoke channel from the fireplace, and I need to proceed with caution because I don't know if there's any support for the wall. I don't know if there is a lintel. I don't know how they did it basically, and sometimes in these old houses you find things and you're like, how did this work for 150 years without breaking or without crumbling down? And this is one of those spots where I know that it seems that if I remove the front of the smoke channel, there's nothing really behind it, there's nothing really supporting it, and I don't know what is supporting it above the part that is obviously pretty loose. So it seems to be holding itself together by old plaster, and the old plaster is crumbly and dusty, and I don't really know what is behind there or above it, so I'm going to be very careful, but there's no other way than just removing it piece by piece and seeing how they construct it, and it needs to go anyway. I just want to be very careful to see what is going on with how they built this. It is old, it's been here for a very long time and it lasted this long, so I am not too worried that something is going to fall down right now. The flooring here, the ceiling looks very bad, but these big beams above here, they are definitely old and rotting and need to be replaced, but for now they are strong enough for us to walk around here, so it's not going to crash down right now, I don't think so. And the flooring here looks very bad, but there's actually another layer of planks above this old floor, which is pretty sturdy, so I'm not too worried about that. It looks very bad, but these beams, even though they are old and need to be replaced, they are so strong and thick, and that's not going to be a problem for now, that's going to be a problem for later. But yeah, I think I'm just going to breathe in some fresh air and then we'll continue and see about that smoke channel, but I think I need to rebuild it completely, and if that's the case I might rethink where I'm going to put a wood stove, but those are all worries for later. For now we just need to see what's going on and change our plans if it's needed, or make completely new plans, but that's fine because it's a beautiful room and there's many things we can do with it, and we'll figure it out. It's just sometimes a little bit of surprises underneath the plaster here, but I think that's part of the adventure. So yeah, I'm going to catch my breath and continue to see what's going on. Still some dirt on my face. It is a pretty dirty job to do, but I think it's fun to see what it looks like, so that gives me a lot of energy. But I must say it is pretty tiring for your muscles, but it isn't as bad as I initially thought. It is pretty strong enough obviously to hold the wall. There is a major crack here, and also this whole piece of wall is moving a little bit. I do think there's something of support here, but I cannot really see that right now. But I do think this piece right here needs to be redone. And depending if I want to plaster this wall or want to keep the original stone exposed, I need to redo this bit with the original Langa stone instead of these bricks, and see if I can make that sturdy, so it's very solid and it will not move, because now with my hand I can move this whole piece around, and that obviously isn't a good thing. Even if I am going to plaster over this wall, I need to fix that, because it needs to be strong, because otherwise you get cracks like there was before, and it's just safer, of course, obviously. So I'm not too sure how I'm going to do that or what I'm going to do, because it's a bit dependent on the last bit of wall. I do think this is also a good looking piece of wall. There are some things that need to fix, like this fireplace, obviously. But if everything around this window is beautiful stone with no repairs, with no red brick, then I might fix this bit with Langa stone and have the whole wall exposed. But if this has a whole lot of repairs and red brick, then I might plaster this wall. So I am not too sure right now, but first we need to remove that to see how it's looking, and then later on I will decide what I am going to do. I'm not in a hurry with deciding, because there's a lot of work to do before I even get to that part, but yeah, it's looking good. I am definitely not disappointed by the walls. All the cracks that are there for an obvious reason, and not like the foundation shifting or anything like that. Of course, we had that checked out already, but it's always nice to see where cracks are coming from. And right here, it's not strange that there is a crack, because that is so old and obviously after some time it's going to move around. But yeah, I am done for today. I am getting pretty tired. My arm is getting pretty tired as well. So yeah, we'll see next week how this bit is looking, and then I think I have a better idea of what I want to do with this wall. So this piece to go, then this wall to go, and then this room is yeah, is getting beautiful every day. But I already like it here, but of course when you remove that old plaster, everything looks so much better. So yeah, I hope you are just as excited about this process as I am. I can't talk anymore because I'm so tired, so I'm going to take a shower, and that is it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed seeing this process, and we'll continue it next week. I have a lot of other small projects I'm going to do next week as well, but it is going to be exciting to see what is around this piece here. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a great week, and I will see you guys next week.